We are back with another edition of the BarDown podcast. It's Luca, Jesse, and Pac, and it's, I think, one of our favorite episodes. It's the FRAUDS episode, where we just like to call out teams that have been fraudulent all year long, that we like to rub it in everyone's faces that we might have been right about, depending on the team. But it's really... FRAUDS is just a really fun one where it's like... and this is back when Corwin was around as well, where we just every year there was that team that you knew didn't belong. I feel like last year, who was it? Washington, maybe a little bit.
I don't know if they were frauds. They almost won the President's Trophy, or did they win? They were great.
Does that mean that they're frauds? Because they're not.
They did not. They did not have a lot of success in the playoffs to back that up.
I think at the end of the day, like only one team is going to win the cup. Like I think
sure.
You can't just go and say, "Oh, this team sucks."
Who was the best example of a fraud last year then?
Well, the Detroit Red Wings may or may not miss the playoffs again after a very nice start to the season, and they've done that before. But anyways,
they're kind of like the fraud team, but like the Rangers have been frauds before.
People have given the fraud tag to the Hurricanes just because they're always good in the regular season and they haven't really backed it up.
Everyone was calling the Jets frauds last year.
Yeah, that was
that was a big one.
Yeah, that was definitely deserved.
It's basically just a team that is probably overperforming, that you think is going to come down to earth in some way, shape, or form, or has come down to earth in some way, shape, or form based on some of the teams we're going to talk about, or a team that has like a fatal flaw that just hasn't really caught up with them at the moment, and going into the playoffs, it's kind of worrisome. So there are a lot of teams. We're going to go 9 teams, 3 each. And yeah, I think there's probably no better place to start than with your first, Jesse, given the news that this team made a coaching change yesterday at the time of this recording. We're recording this on a Monday.
I mean, what bigger proof do you need that this team is a bunch of frauds than firing your coach with 8 games left in the season? Unbelievable, just unheard of. I mean, not unheard of. I'm pretty sure people noted that the Devils did the same thing when they won the Cup back in the day. I'm going to go with the Vegas Golden Knights. You talk about a truly elite roster that has not been performing at an elite level at all. They're middle of the pack at everything, essentially. Yeah, 15th in goals for per game at 3.12. Tied for 19th in goals against per game with 3.107. This is a team that has a very, very strong blue line. I know their goaltending has not been great this year by any means, but look, I actually love this move for Vegas. I know it's a bit of a risk doing this at the end of the season, but if you're McCrimmon, you're kind of looking at this being like, hey, our team has been completely underperforming. Okay, we need a bit of a spark plug. Look at what Bonus is doing with Columbus. I think John Tortorella, over time, wears on people. But I think if you want a immediate spark plug, I'm not sure if there's a better guy than John Tortorella who's going to immediately kind of catapult you into a place where you want your team to be. With 8 games left in the season and a roster that's already there, a roster that's been in the playoffs before, I kind of love it for Vegas, but there's no doubt in my mind that they've been frauds this year. I mean, they just have not been performing to where they should be.
They got a worse record than Calgary since making that trade for Rasmus Andersson. When they made that trade for Rasmus Andersson, it was like another all-in move from Vegas. They don't need their draft picks. Keep acquiring high-end talent. They did it before the deadline, too, so it's almost like you're paying a little bit less than some of the premiums we always see teams pay in February or March when the deadline rolls around. So they have such a good roster. This is one of the best rosters they've had in the history of their franchise. They splashed on Marner in free agency, yet this is the first year ever that they are going to lose more games than they've won. And
they're not a lock to make the playoffs yet. I think they will make I think they will make the playoffs.
It's close.
It's not a lock, man.
With how bad you can't trust the other teams.
Well, Kings have a game in hand and are only 4 points
the
back.
Kings.
No, I know it's
Seattle's
not like
so right there.
It's not that I trust the Kings or the Kraken to do it, but like there is a world where they do miss the playoffs. It's probably not likely, but there is a world. I guess the question with them, and the Calgary thing is funny. They've the same amount of regulation wins as Calgary. I guess the only difference is Vegas has 8 more overtime losses than the Flames do, and that's really
and the
all
Flames,
that
by the way,
separates them.
are trying to get Gavin McKenna.
Vegas,
let's be honest.
You know what? I feel like Calgary's kind of been playing.
They've been playing very well recently.
They have been,
and you know what? I'm pretty sure Vegas has gone past regulation 22 times this year. They're 8-14 in those games. Like I'm pretty sure that's the record, and that's just mean, say what you want. That's not great. They also, I think, behind Anaheim have the most third period comebacks in the league, which I guess you can look at as a positive or negative. They're down in a lot of games, but they can also find ways to come back. But in those OT games, or shootout games, they've been losing a lot. I don't know. I think they got to pick it up because they should be playing way better with that roster as far as I'm concerned.
So they have been one of the better defensive teams in the league this year, but goaltending has been an issue with this team, to say the least. They have some of the worst goaltending in the league, especially among teams that are probably slated to make the playoffs. Do you think they should have maybe made a push to do something in net?
We've talked about the Oilers. How there's so many teams that need a goalie. The Habs needed a goalie. I mean, lately it's been working for them, but the Oilers need it's hard to find a solid, reliable netminder. There's maybe 12 in the NHL, and there's 32 teams that want one, and there's more than 12 teams that are battling for a playoff spot and want to compete for a cup. So I think it's easier said than done with Vegas, and they tried a couple of different things. I mean, Adin Hill was also very reliable for them at one point, and that just hasn't been the case obviously this year. So
they also only have so many assets that they can give up to get another.
It's also very true.
Yeah, I don't know. They need better goaltending.
What's your trust level on like a scale of 1 to 10 with this team going into the playoffs? Let's say they make it into the playoffs. I don't really care where they finish, but they're in the playoffs, playing playoff hockey. Vegas is rocking. We know how much of a home ice advantage that is. They've still got Eichel and Marner and Stone and all of these guys. Like, what is your level of trust that this team can make it past the first round at the very least? Because I think that's probably fraud territory, right? Where like if the Golden Knights are going out in the first round, if they have a matchup with an Anaheim, or if they have a matchup with I don't know, even an Edmonton per se, that's a series that's winnable for them. They've proven that in the past. So like, what's your trust level with this team?
The thing with Vegas and the playoff format it's the gift that keeps on giving in the NHL. As bad as they've been, even though they'd be like the 12th best team in the Eastern Conference right now, there's a very good chance they have the 1 seed. Like they can catch the Ducks. That's not,
gap is pretty. It's
getting bigger.
It's getting bigger. 6 points, and the Ducks have a game in hand.
And 2, the team that they're gonna play is potentially the Oilers, who, spoiler, I'll probably get to later in this video.
Wow.
And
there we go.
It's just like, so who are you scared of in the Pacific? The Oilers team that, goaltending's been an issue for years. Draisaitl's banged up. We hope he's back by the playoffs. But they have their own boatload of issues. Or a Ducks team who, hey, you know what? You've had a great season, but you're unproven. You're young. Like, to me, that's a candidate of a team that has done a phenomenal job this year. But if I'm Vegas, or if I'm picking a team between Vegas and Anaheim in a 7-game playoff series with Vegas' experience, I'm taking Vegas. So I think Vegas, the reason they made this coaching change is they know how good their roster is. They know they're not getting the best out of it. Bruce Cassidy is a hell of a coach, but you're in a unique situation where, as bad as you have been, you can actually be rewarded with a relatively easy path to a conference final, and you're going to avoid at least Colorado, Minnesota, or that. You only got to play one of those teams.
Okay, but man, like, you're acting like playing Edmonton with McDavid and Draisaitl is like this breeze, like this team that has come out of the West for the past 2 years.
Edmonton has dealt with Vegas very well, but like, I think this is the worst they've ever looked.
Vegas?
Edmonton.
Or Edmonton? Yeah. I mean, but like at the same time, they could get to the playoffs, snap a finger, and it's like, oh, we're back. Here's Edmonton. Here's McDavid on his quest to the cup, wants to win again. Like him and Draisaitl leading the way, Bouchard leading the way. It's like I kind of disagree with you actually. I think that there are. I'm not sure Vegas' path to getting to the conference final is as, relatively speaking, as easy as you're making it out.
I think I'm more so saying, like, as bad as they've been, it's still relative. Like, it's not like you're rolling through the Central or the Atlantic, like these stronger divisions, because the Pacific has been so weak.
Is the Atlantic that much better? That
every night the Habs, Buffalo, and Tampa, they all just win.
Okay, but from a playoff perspective, you're talking about, like, I don't know, man. Like, would you really rather play? I mean, obviously Buffalo's been great, Montreal's been great, but I think I would rather play those teams than I would Edmonton in the first round.
Because of McDavid.
For sure. The team that's come out of the West the past 2 years. I don't know. I think more than anything, it's just like, if you look at Vegas, you kind of just feel confident that they have the roster to get to where they need to be. Like, that's a Stanley Cup roster that they have, but they just kind of need a spark plug. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know.
Maybe this is it. Only time will tell on that one. We've got 8 games left in the regular season, so there's time to find a little bit of an identity under their new head coach going into the playoffs, and this is kind of the wake-up call they needed. Who's your first team, Puck?
Let's keep it rolling in the Pacific.
You want to just go
Edmonton?
Edmonton?
I want to talk a little bit about the Edmonton Oilers. And
Let's do it.
I have picked this team to win the Cup year after year. I've said it all season. I'll probably pick them to win the Cup again. But I think for the first time, I've kind of started to hesitate a little bit. Like, it just feels like maybe it's not their year. And Jesse, like, you raised great points there. When you have McDavid, when you have Draisaitl, when you have Bouchard,
Hyman,
these players that can take over. Actually, Jack Roslovic and Matthew Savoy have also been picking it up recently.
Been great down the stretch.
But there's just something about how their roster's built and their goaltending. And, I mean, you can say this for all the teams in the Pacific, and I've already said it once in this podcast. I'll probably say it a million times. Something's not sitting right with me with the fact that these teams on, like, 77 points are being rewarded with a playoff spot. Like, and that's why I'm going to use the fraud card. I'm going to use it a little more loosely with Edmonton because is there a chance that you snap your fingers and McDavid has 32 points in 14 playoff games and they're back in the Stanley Cup final? 100%. But I don't know. It feels like you can't keep getting away with this. Like, eventually this is going to catch up with you.
Oh, it's far from the Oilers team that back-to-back 100-point seasons when they've gone to the Cup final in the regular season. It's not like I know the regular season doesn't matter. The Panthers proved it last year. Just get in and you can find a way once you're there. But I think objectively what you said before of like this is the worst version of them going into the playoffs, that's 100% true, right? Like McDavid, fine. We don't know Draisaitl's health. Like, hopefully he's back for Edmonton's sake. But if he's not 100%, it's a massive piece of the puzzle missing. And this is by far the weakest and the worst I feel like anyone's felt about them going into a playoff. And they've played a ton of hockey. Like, is this finally it catching up? Is this where we get a bit of a letdown from those guys in the postseason that have been we've been so accustomed to them just putting up historic series after historic series. Like maybe this is the year that it's a letdown because of that. I think they do fit the fraud definition pretty well. Do you have a level of trust with them in the first round of the playoffs where you're pretty confident that they're going to get past the first round, or do you think this team's like on upset alert right away?
If it ends up being them versus Vegas, it's great because if you told me in September we get Edmonton and Vegas in the first round, I'd be like, oh my gosh, they need to change the playoff format. There's no way two teams that are this good should be playing in the playoffs. Like, these are two Cup favorites, but yet we're getting them.
They deserve each other.
Yeah, and it's almost fitting. I don't know who to trust. I'll trust the team that's, I guess, in recent history gotten the better of Vegas, and I guess I'll say Edmonton, but I don't know. They're both teams that if they just put their heads down and get hot at the right time, could I see them winning the Cup? Yes. But they also...
It'd be a great series.
They deserve to be called frauds at the moment. If that makes sense.
It definitely makes sense.
It totally makes sense. But like as we always say, playoffs are a different beast.
They're a different beast.
And like once that first game starts in the playoffs, it's a new season. Call me crazy. I actually almost feel better about Edmonton's depth this year going into the playoffs than I feel like I have in past years. I feel like they have more guys that are going to be able to contribute this year. You know, like, I feel like Podkolzin has actually been decent. I feel like Savoy has been really picking it up lately. You know, they still have guys like Hyman.
Since the Draisaitl's gone down, their depth scoring is definitely
Brozovic looks good. Like, I feel like actually, and then, I don't know. I feel like this year, more than other years, I feel actually kind of good about Edmonton's depth. I think their blue line is actually, like, their defense is actually like not bad. If they get decent goaltending from Ingram and Draisaitl comes back healthy, I actually like this Oilers team. But, you know, getting past Vegas is going to be tough because we're really talking about two of the stronger rosters in the league when they're playing at their best. But they obviously have not played at their best during the regular season.
exciting first round potentially upon us if it holds the way it is right now with 8 games left for both teams right now, and the Ducks have a game in hand. But the Oilers still could lock up that 1 seed in the Pacific. It's definitely not out of the realm of possibility for them, which would give them an even easier path to making a conference final, especially going through the Pacific. So they are, I mean, if the regular season matters to one team, I think it probably matters most to them at this point in time, where the division is right there. You know what that means for you. It's avoiding Vegas in the first round, and it's playing
Utah, who's pretty damn good.
Yeah, the Oilers took care of them. The Oilers took care of them earlier this week.
For sure.
Yeah.
But like a Utah is not a bad way to kind of go about that and let Vegas potentially get upset by Anaheim this year, and your conference final is kind of set in stone at that point. So if you're Edmonton fans, you want to see this team do well down the stretch. I'll go to, you know what? Let's stay in the Pacific. Let's just wrap this up with the Seattle Kraken, because this team is just fraudulent. The fact that they are not going to get Gavin is going to put their franchise back quite a bit. Bobby McMahon has been an outstanding story. He is absolutely ripping it up.
What does he have? 11 points.
8 points in 7 games.
He's got like 7 goals. I'm pretty
player.
sure with Seattle. It's absolutely nuts. 7 goals and 4 assists in 8 games for this guy.
So 11 points.
Absolutely insane. Playing 19 minutes a night, 4 more than he did with the Leafs during his time there in Toronto. So
Huge difference.
I don't know if they're going to lock him up long term. Was trading for him worth it? Only if you lock him up, I guess. But like, this team struggles to score goals. They don't generate a ton of offense. They don't have the best goaltending in the world, and they are just kind of miraculously stuck around. But I think when you're looking at everything this Seattle team is, like, they just don't belong in the playoff conversation. They don't belong in the playoff hunt. And if you're a fan of this team, you probably don't want to see them in the playoff hunt. Like, they are just so middling with an aging roster. 51 points is your leading scorer, Jordan Eberle. The guys that you wanted to see hit 20 goals and at least 60 points in Matty Beniers and Shane Wright are nowhere near those marks. What do you have to like? I just and they're still somehow here. Like, I don't get it.
They're 2 points out with 2 games in hand on Nashville.
The most fraudulent team I can think of, and truthfully, 2 games in hand on Vegas. Like, if they win those games in hand, they are ahead of the Golden Knights in the standings in the Pacific Division. This team does not deserve to be there.
Imagine Edmonton.
Where are they defensively in the league?
They're not great. They are okay. It's not like they are getting this outstanding goaltending either. Like, Grubauer's about league average as far as their expected goals against goes. They're league average, but expected goals for a 5-on-5, they are worse than Chicago right now. 120.
How are they winning all these games?
I don't know.
Because they're playing the other teams in the Pacific.
Because they're playing the other teams in the Pacific, and they also have 11 overtime losses, which the theme with the Pacific Division and some of these teams still in the wild card hunt, whether it's LA that has 18 overtime losses, Winnipeg has 12 overtime losses, the Blues have 11 overtime losses. Like, these extra points are helping these teams right now that are all very close in the standings together. And I think that's obviously the difference between that conference as a whole and the West. But yeah, this is a 51-point scorer as your leading scorer as a potential playoff team. The way hockey is right now is just is the most fraudulent thing I can think of. So the Seattle Kraken, you are big time frauds. And if you make it into the playoffs, it'll be a nice week.
I think we got to change the point system in the NHL.
I think we
3
do
points
too.
for a win, 2 points for an OT win, 1 point for an OT loss.
They got to do what the PWHL is doing.
Yeah.
Like, that point system would make a lot of these end of season scenarios a lot more exciting, I think. But yeah, that's the Kraken. Do you guys have anything
I just
else
think
to
they're
add on
like
the Kraken?
I don't think they're as bad as you're making them out to be, but I think they're very much stuck in limbo where
What is good about
it's
them?
hard to sell a ceiling on the team at all. Like, right now they're playing at their ceiling and it's not great.
Yeah, like
I think they're playing above their ceiling.
They have some good veterans who are like solid players, but it's just like,
Yeah.
the thing about the roster is it's hard to get excited because how they project like 4 years from now with the players that are on the team right now. They have some decent prospects that they've drafted. They're actually very deep at center, but
they have great prospects.
it's just like I just don't know what kind of they're building towards right now. But I'd love to see them win those games in hand and get into third in the Pacific and like firmly entrenched in the playoffs.
I just think that
You
like,
thought Edmonton's path couldn't get easier.
Yeah.
I just think that like Seattle's kind of like, yeah, like they're like in the playoff hunt, but like probably not going to get there, and that's kind of just like what I would expect from them. Like they don't have a great roster. I think they're building for the future. Sucks. Obviously, you'd probably rather see your team tank and like get a better pick, but like, hey man, they're 2 points out of the playoffs. I'm sure their fans are actually pretty pumped about that. It's like when you have any chance to make the playoffs, get there. And what has Seattle been there once since they've returned?
What do you guys think about the playoff format? I know it has its flaws. I know people are always pointing out ways to fix it. Everyone wants the 1v8 back. That's one thing. I think the main problem this year, and this happens some seasons, is the East is significantly deeper than the West.
Yeah.
What would your thoughts be on a 4-team wild card where it's just open to anybody? So not two spots from the East, not 2 spots from the West.
So
it's just
you
the
have
4
like
best teams
crossover
that aren't-
after that.
Yeah.
I think that
It's interesting.
I think the teams that finish in first though are kind of at a disadvantage because your travel might be way
The
longer.
travel might be longer, and then you're also like, the East and the West only play each other twice a year. So there's
Yeah.
something to be said about importance in winning the games in your conference and competing against teams in your conference.
I'd agree with that.
Just something I thought I'd throw out. I don't know if it exactly.
I just don't know how many years we get like this
Yeah,
every
it's
year.
rare.
It is rare that like every team in the East is basically better than every team
Yeah.
in the West. So it is kind of rare. I will push back a little. If I'm a fan of a team that like is built like Seattle is, I want that team as close to the bottom of the standings as possible because it's just a week in the playoffs where you get a worse draft pick and it doesn't really help you in my opinion. Like it's great if you want to watch playoff hockey, it's fine, but I just think making the playoffs currently how they are also puts your expectations in a weird spot. If you're management, if you're the people in charge of making decisions, where it can warp your perception of your team. And I think that's when things become dangerous.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think that like, and I get it, like wanting to finish near the bottom because like then, you know, you're especially a team like Seattle, it's like you're kind of starting from the ground up to a degree. I know you still have these older guys, but like, man, Seattle's only been to the playoffs once. Like I feel like it's like I feel, and maybe I'm wrong, and like I'm curious to see what Kraken fans think, because I think it could go either way. I think there's a way of looking at it like you want your team to do poorly so you get a better draft pick, or you want your team to get to the playoffs because like, hey, we haven't really had that much playoff hockey here to be able to just get to the playoffs. And like you never know. Like remember when didn't Seattle beat Colorado last time?
They did.
And, like,
that was a weird series, but they did.
Like you just never know. And like I don't know. I feel like Seattle still has a grasp of where they're going as a franchise. I feel like maybe they're even feeling like they're overachieving this year to a degree. And like, hey, they're a win out of the playoffs. They've got 2 games at hand. Probably just like, let's go for it here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a thing to tank. Like I'm not saying tank. It's more just like I'd rather, if I was a Seattle fan, I'd rather see them miss the playoffs this year.
You'd rather not
make
get in on like a crazy low point total.
Yeah,
You're going to lose, most likely 90% chance you're going to lose that matchup. And it's more just like I worry about the direction of the team going forward, where sometimes making the playoffs gives you false hope of where you actually are as a franchise, where I think they're a lot closer to Calgary, Chicago, truthfully, than they are to Nashville, Utah.
Even Nashville. We'll
talk about Nashville.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel as though at this point it's like you're so close to the playoffs. Like
You might as well get it.
you might as well
I'm
go
not
for
saying
it.
don't go for it. I'm saying like
Probably McMahon score a couple more goals.
So you're saying
Yeah.
like if you're a Seattle fan, you'd rather see the team like lose its last 10 games and just like be at the bottom and like
yeah,
not
like
in
I
the
don't
playoffs.
really care. Like I'd be a little truthfully like, yeah, it's great, it's playoff hockey. Like from a team building perspective, I think I'd rather just them not make the playoffs if I'm cheering for them, because I just think there are a lot more benefits to that. And it's not just a draft pick. It's sometimes GMs get this false hope with, and I'll talk about a team that it kind of falls in that mold, because sometimes it ruins your future a little bit. But we've got 6 more teams to go, so let's move on to your next one.
Okay, so speaking of teams that are actually a team that's actually in a pretty similar position, and I feel like I just got to say this. I mean, the Winnipeg Jets obviously have been kind of frauds this year. They've been playing well lately, and I'll give them that. And they're a team, they're right with Seattle there that's like pushing for it, and that's why I can like kind of relate to that. And I get that like Winnipeg and Seattle are in different places. You know, Seattle's kind of a team that's looking to build from starting a little younger and build for the future, whereas Winnipeg was the President's Trophy winner last year. But, the Jets are still just 3 points out of the playoff spot right now. There was a time where I was like, okay, we should probably just tank for one of these good guys. But I'm kind of under the impression now it's like, even if you make it in as the 8th seed or a wildcard team, get to the playoffs. You never know what's going to happen. I think going to the playoffs does a ton for a fan base, and that's why I think kind of relating back to the Kraken. I think it just feels good to have your team in the playoffs. And the reason why they're frauds, obviously, they just have not really been as good defensively this year. I know last year, the Jets, I think, were allowing the least goals against per game in the league. Hellebuck has a save percentage of below 900 this year, which is insane to think about given the past few seasons he's had, especially last year. And the depth scoring just hasn't been there for the Jets. It just really has not been. I know a player that has been, Cole Perfetti is a guy that I think Jets fans have wanted to see get going a little more, and he hasn't really been playing with the most talented players this year. But I just feel as though the Jets are they're just not who they were last year, and it's been frustrating to watch. And even though I'm a huge Jets fan, I have to say that they've been frauds this year. There's no question.
Do you think they get in? I can't believe they still have a chance because it just feels like they've definitely picked it up, but the way they started,
3 from Colorado, which I think was unexpected, but then they've been losing games that they probably should be winning. So I think we play Chicago tomorrow night with that very winnable game. I don't know if I'm going to say that who knows? The playoff hunt in the West has been so close. It's been so close in the East. I can't remember it being this close. Maybe it was I don't know. It just feels like it's been extra close this year. But I don't know. I feel like the Jets have kind of picked it up lately, and who knows? I'm not.
1 week ago,
I think there's a chance.
Jets lose to the Preds. Text from Jesse at 11:30 at night. It's time to put a pin in the Jets season. Now they're back. Somehow they're back in the playoff race.
It's crazy.
I think they were 5 points back then, and now they're
just absolutely exposed me.
I mean, the difference.
You don't share private texts.
Something bad about that. You're a fan caught up in the emotions.
I'm kidding.
You should see me watch my teams.
I'm kidding.
The difference between them and Seattle, in my mind, is if I'm the Avs, I don't want to play the Jets. That's a team that has a ton of talent everywhere. That's why I think they're in a way different position as Seattle, because I'm just this was a team that was so good last year. Yeah, they've fallen off, and I think you're right to put them in this category. But I also think that this is a team that I'm if they make the playoffs, anything can happen, because you have the best goaltender in the world. You have a ton of talent up front still, in Scheifele and Connor and Velarde and Morrissey. There's still so much on this team that I'm this is a team that if they get in the playoffs, actually watch out, they can make some noise. Whereas anyone in and around that wild card spot, and that's the Preds, the Kings to a degree, although I don't feel exactly the same, and probably the Sharks and the Blues, I'm just I'd rather see the Jets in there, because that's a team that's ahead of schedule. That's a team that's a consistent playoff team that's had a bit of a down year, but they have the talent to actually belong there and make some noise. Whereas the other teams around me just feel like they are. It's going to be a nice week, and then it's over for them.
There's a couple of those teams that you mentioned that I don't know if they'll be touched on, but I know I'm going to be bringing up one of those teams, but I see what you're saying, and maybe the Jets almost need something like this, Maybe they need to just go into the playoffs with that roster, less pressure on the team.
Sometimes it's all it takes.
Last year, you could feel it. You could feel it during that Blues series. There was just a lot of pressure on the Jets, and even being in the building for the games, it was tense. But we'll get more to that after. But I definitely see what you're saying, but on the other side of things, who knows? Right? Any team gets in, you never know.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think last time Seattle was in the playoffs, no one saw them winning that series, and they somehow managed to pull it out. So,
and then I think
it's a different beast.
Take the Stars to 7 after
6 or 7.
6, yeah.
Yeah. Who's your next team, Puck?
Let's shift gears a little bit and take some heat off the Western Conference. I'm gonna go with the team in the East.
Sure?
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably go back to the Western Conference.
We have
after
been
that.
West heavy.
But, well, it makes sense. The East,
they've got more of the frauds.
Like, the East right now, when you're looking at the conference, you're almost just like tipping your cap to all these teams and be like, man, like even the Flyers are somehow staying alive. So the one team I'm going to talk about has never really been alive in that playoff race. But I think what qualifies them for the frauds category is, because I know I was certainly wrong about them, they have had such a disappointing season. And I think when you look big picture, you kind of, there's not really an excuse in my head. And that's the New Jersey Devils. I picked them to win. I look back at the post on BarDown Instagram of like our preseason projections, and I picked them to win the Metro. Like, they were just a candidate of like, they've got a good group of young, talented players, build off of last season, where when Jack Hughes went down last year, it was like, man, that really, really deflated the team. But they were rolling with him. And now I know he got hurt with that weird, like, what, he cut his finger at like dinner and he had to miss some time. But still, without him, the team just looks like a complete disaster. I don't know. And I just feel like when we're talking about all these teams in the NHL this season, I don't think enough light has been shed on just how disappointing the Devils have been. And it starts to make me kind of doubt the future outlook of this project in New Jersey, their ability to retain all these good players. Like, I don't know. Maybe with, I know these Hughes boys all want to play with each other, and New Jersey's been the spot everyone's been saying because two are already there.
Speaking of Hughes boys, though, like, Luke Hughes just hasn't really had a great season.
No, he hasn't.
Like, you know, there's been a lot of hype about Luke Hughes. He's still so young, and like, he'll get there, I think. But like, I don't know.
The team's just been there was that time where Kucherov was like outscoring pretty much the whole team over like a 2-month span. It's like, what's going on over here, guys? Yeah. This is the New Jersey Devils in a wide open Metro. Teams like the Blue Jackets and the Penguins and the Islanders, these teams that we didn't necessarily have these crazy high expectations, have taken advantage, and they've had really, really good seasons of a wide open conference. And New Jersey's just been left sitting there. And I think it's disappointing. I don't really think you can use the excuse of the Jack Hughes injury this year, because the rest of the team should be better than this, and they're just not.
What do you, as far as their future outlook goes, what worries you the most?
They have Hughes on an amazing contract.
They do,
too.
But I just don't know if they're necessarily building around him properly. Like, the prospect pool is nothing phenomenal.
They haven't really developed Nemec into
he's been better this year, but like, it's for a second overall pick, right? And the fact that, like,
and he's got the tools, man.
His name was on the trade bait board, like, come trade deadline, and he was in all those rumors. And Luke Hughes struggling this year. I don't know, like, is Sheldon Keefe, is his seat getting hot?
Absolutely.
It's got to be at this point.
Yeah, it's
got to be red hot.
We don't have to spend too much time on them, but it's just been a weird year, and I feel like it has not been highlighted very much how disappointing a team that had like surefire playoff expectations has just completely fallen short.
The prospect pool also, like, it really is nothing to write home about. Like, it's really not.
They can thank the Rangers for taking some heat off of
there you go. That makes
them in that market, because the only team that's been worse than them is the Rangers, which we all expected, right? The Rangers, out of the three teams on in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, and the Islanders, we all would have thought the Islanders would have been up here. I'm gonna go there next though with my next fraud team, because I think this is like the perfect definition of a fraud team is the New York Islanders. When I was thinking of this video, I was like, yeah, that's a team that's penciled in there. They're probably gonna make the playoffs. I think I really don't know. They haven't been as good lately as they have been all season, but this is obviously a team that is built on their goaltending. It's Ilya Sorokin, and it's no one else really.
What are you talking about? They got Matthew Schaefer.
Matthew Schaefer, yes,
what?
I know. It's him and Sorokin. That's it. But I mean, this team expected goals against it 5-on-5. They're fourth most in the league, only behind the Leafs, the Canucks, and the Blackhawks. They don't score a lot either. They don't create a whole ton. Barzal has been great. Schaefer's been outstanding. Sorry, it's no disrespect to Matthew Schaefer. He's been amazing, but this team is literally Ilya Sorokin and everybody, and he has carried them to the playoffs. He probably should be the Vezina winner if we're voting on it today, as far as just a guy that has played so many games and been so relied upon to put this team in the position they're in. But the thing that worries me, and I think I've seen it with some Islanders fans, is more just like the moves they made this year to bring in aging guys. And we talked about it in the trade deadline reaction show and things like that. Of just like they were pretty aggressive for where their team is. And I don't think they looked at their team objectively and were like, hey, you know what? Like, we are getting carried here, and that's okay. Like, let's carry this out as much as we can, but we don't have to give up assets right now to bring in aging guys like Palat and sign Pajot to these big extensions. Like, we don't need to do that right now. We can be a little less aggressive. I think they were a little too aggressive for where they are. And I also think that whoever they kind of match up against in that first round, I think they probably will be the underdog, and rightfully so, but we've seen it a lot of times. Like, goaltending gets you pretty far in the playoffs. And so if Sorokin can continue to have this incredible season and carry that towards the playoffs, I don't doubt that they can win a playoff series, but I just think from how they are built and the contributions they are getting across the lineup, like they have 2 20-goal scorers, and one of them is their 18-year-old rookie Matthew Schaefer.
Yeah, but man, Bo Horvat has 30 goals this year. Like, he's having a great year. He's having
a good year.
I'll say
he's having a very good year.
The Islanders for years, I feel like, have kind of been stuck with this label of like boring, don't score a lot of goals, don't have a lot of high-end talent. Yeah, this year maybe the advanced numbers don't look great, and
I mean,
Sorokin's playing them into a playoff spot and keep them in a lot of games. He's on their team, but yeah, that's fine. That can be something to point to.
The same.
I think
kind
with
of
Matthew Schaefer though, they're fun. Like, they're a draw.
He's fun.
I will.
They're still not scoring a ton of goals.
But to me, the Islanders in the playoffs, I am intrigued. I am drawn in. I want to watch them.
They have 3 goal scorers, by the way. Heineman has also been a great surprise for them this year. He's got 21 tucks.
He was good last year in Montreal.
He's got 21 tucks.
When they traded him for Dobson, I feel like a lot of like people who didn't watch the Habs were like, okay, Emil Heineman, 22-year-old forward, played on the 3rd, 4th line for Montreal last year. It's kind of a throw-in. Habs fans really liked him. Like, he's got a great shot. Doesn't surprise me at all that he scored 20 goals this year. I think he'll be a 20-goal scorer for a very long time. He was a 2nd-round pick. Like, that was a substantial piece in that trade. So I think, like, the Islanders, if you want to call them frauds this year, like, okay, but I think this is like the last year that I think they're shedding this label. I think they're going to be good. I think they're fun. I think Matthew Schaefer is going to carry this team very, very far. And I think they're on the come up. Although, yeah, if they go into the playoffs this year and they lose in the first round, I don't think it's a shock.
I think if they play Pittsburgh, it's going to be a really good series.
It will be a
Crosby versus Schaefer, yeah.
So I think he's fun. I still don't think this team is fun. I think
but they're getting more fun.
I think he has a lot to do.
Their trajectory is.
He has a lot to do with the fun of this team. Outside of him, I truly am looking at the roster. Obviously, Horvat and Barzal are 2 of the big names, but outside of that, it really, it's not as fun as I think people are labeling them because of Schaefer. I think that Richie's had a nice little season for them in his first full season. But I think there's still a long way to go for this team, and that's kind of why I have them as frauds.
Okay. I think we thought going into the season that this team has an extremely long way to go. I think that like one player like Matthew Schaefer can actually kind of close that gap quite significantly. Like, it's amazing what he's done.
I don't disagree. I think though that I wouldn't be surprised if next year this team is closer to the bottom of the standings again,
I disagree with that.
What do you mean? We saw it with Sorokin last year when he imploded.
I know, but I think the team's getting better.
But that's my thing. Like, I don't think they haven't made many changes. Like, I don't know.
Schaefer's going to be even better this year. If
I don't disagree
if he ends
with that.
60 points this year,
I don't disagree with that.
85 next year.
Heineman and Richie are both like having encouraging seasons too this
year.
They're
encouraging for sure. I don't like this roster is going to be pretty much the exact same.
I know, but
regression is coming.
I know the veterans are like kind of up there in age, but they're still like solid players as much as like
they're okay.
Regression is coming.
Regression is coming for a team like this, though. Wouldn't you say?
I feel like we've said that for years, though. Like, I feel like we've felt that for years.
And it came last year. They had the 1st overall pick.
Yeah, but they won that on like a crazy lottery ping pong
the
balls.
seventh best
Let's
odds
be
ever.
honest, nobody understood how that was happening.
Yeah.
That
They
was a
did,
crazy
but
broadcast.
I think regression came for them pretty hard last
And
year.
they're back. Matthew
They're
Darsh.
not. They're not that
Trust
bad.
in Matthew Darsh.
I actually
I don't trust him right now.
I
don't
just
know.
love him
I
because
don't
he was
know
a
if
half.
regression is like I actually think that and maybe I'm wrong, but like I feel like the Islanders are really like on the right track here. Like I feel like they've got some really good prospects in their prospect pool. They took a huge jump that I don't think anyone saw them making this year.
It's also like every year we go into the regular season and we're like, okay, like this team has to be like the Rangers this year, the Devils this year. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, what do you, like who's gonna be bad? Because a team like the Rangers, a team like the Devils, like they're gonna be in the playoffs for sure. They have all these good players. They've been in the playoffs for years. Like
I don't disagree with
there's
you.
always changes. There's all like the Leafs this season. Nobody saw them coming to be the worst team in the Atlantic. Buffalo's in first. Like things change quickly. Opportunities open up. A team can get hot. A team can take advantage of a good year. I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna be at the bottom.
I don't disagree with
there's
that.
teams that I feel more strongly about that are gonna be bad than the Islanders.
Going forward,
Yeah.
what was that line you said?
I
The
said
only
there's
team-
other teams that I feel more strongly will be bad rather than the Islanders. I think Matthew Shaver's like gonna be the third best player in the NHL for like.
I agree with that. Like I don't think you're wrong, but let me just play this out for you because Quinn Hughes, one of the best defensemen in the league. Like they can't carry a team single-handedly, and I would argue that Canucks team with Quinn Hughes was more talented than this Islanders team.
Yeah, but they
Wouldn't
had,
you
like,
say?
Miller and Pedersen fighting in the dressing room.
I would even say this year, before Hughes was traded, I think that roster was probably more talented than the Islanders roster.
Okay, yeah, talent on paper is one thing, but the Islanders
Talent
just,
on
like,
paper is one thing for
there's
sure.
no better
They
team
have to play it out.
at just getting it done with not a lot than the New York Islanders.
That I won't argue with
scrappy,
because
like,
they
they just get it
do
done.
find a way.
Got some good. They've got some other good.
got
defen-
Anders
They've got
Lee.
some other good.
With that chin.
With that big shoe in his
He's the
mouth all
best.
the time.
It wouldn't surprise me if we're sitting here a year from now talking about the Islanders as one of the 5 bottom teams in the East. It truly wouldn't. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, let me be clear. I don't think that's actually a bad thing. I think that's actually a good thing.
I'm curious to hear from Islanders fans on this.
I'm
Please
all
let us
in
know
on
in the
the
comments because I'm curious to hear their take on this. If they agree or if they disagree on this.
I am too.
I also think that like, yeah, I mean, if Schaefer stays healthy, I don't know. Like, it's amazing to see what one player is able to do to a team. Clearly,
He's incredible. It's not to take anything away from him or Sorokin. I just think they're a prime team for some regression. For sure.
are you saying that just because like they've been getting good goaltending this year?
Goaltending will even out for sure, but I also think that like the play around them could decrease as well. Like he covers up for a lot of their shortcomings, probably, is where I'm at. So like I think their style of play is still not like this exciting brand of hockey. Like they don't score a ton already. And I think if Sorokin's letting in a few more goals per game next year than this year, like I think that also changes how you play. And I think for a young team that's probably relying on their young players a lot next year, especially like if we think Yzerman's going to be up with the team next year, let's say
Aitchison,
potentially, Richie, Heineman, like
Danny Nelson.
if the young players are going to have a bigger role on this team potentially, there's also variance in that where like Schaefer could have, and I'm not saying he's going to have a bad year next year. I think he is primed to just keep improving. But the encouraging signs you see from a guy like Richie or Heineman can easily turn into bad sophomore years. Like that happens. That's not uncommon for young players. So if you're relying on big jumps from those guys and they don't give it to you, then you're in a position where your season might not be as good productivity-wise as this season, but I don't think that's a bad thing, I guess.
But I think that they've already been good this year without those guys being like outstanding. So hey, look, we don't have crystal balls. We'll have to see, but I think that it's a compelling argument, or it's a compelling case.
They're a fascinating team, that's for sure. That's for sure. We got 3 teams left. Let's run through those final 3 teams.
So this is a team that has actually been really hot lately, and I feel like a little weird calling them frauds, but I think just based off of what we saw in that series against the Jets last year, I was kind of expecting a bit like a little more from the Blues this year. I don't know, like they were so good in that series against the Jets. Like really, I'm watching them being like, they actually borderline look better than the Jets for a good amount of that series. And I don't know, I kind of just expected them to ride that wave, maybe be a little better. I mean, the Central is also such a tough division, so it's kind of tough to say, but they're still not even in a playoff spot yet. And I guess I was just expecting a little more from them. I thought they would for sure have been in the playoffs this year. If you asked me at the end of that series last year, like, are the Blues going to be in the playoffs next year? I'd say yes, for sure. But I think that there's a lot of reason to be excited if you're a Blues fan still. I think I actually like the way that they're going as a franchise. I think they did a really good job with the deadline. They picked up some solid assets. I think, goaltending was a talking point for this team for so long. Hofer's actually been unreal. He's been amazing lately. He's been amazing down the stretch.
It's been a big reason why they're in this spot.
Exactly. Like I think that that's someone that you feel good about. Adam Yurchik was incredible at the World Juniors. Like I think he may have been defenseman of the tournament if I'm not mistaken, or he was right there. And they have some other good prospects in their system as well. I think Snuggerud is really great. I actually wouldn't trade Thomas, if I'm being honest. Kyrou had it down here. I don't know what's going to happen with Kyrou. Maybe they deal him. Maybe he just kind of resets. But you got Holloway still as a great piece. Like you still have a guy like Fowler who's a little older, but still a good defenseman. I don't know. I feel like the Blues are on the right path, but I'm just kind of surprised that they are not. They're not a little. They haven't been a little more competitive this year. I'll say that.
It's such a bad start to the season.
Yeah.
I'm very curious how they're going to approach this offseason. The Robert Thomas stuff, I thought it was weird at the deadline. It seems like you're going to lose that trade when you trade a guy in his prime on very, very good contract, a center as well, someone who can put up points, can play a kind of a two-way game. Like, I don't know about that. I hope they keep him. And then you think you can only think guys like Dvorsky, Snuggerud, Holloway, they continue to improve. They're good young players. So I think, the fraud label comes in just because of how poor their start to the season was, especially coming off a season last year where, especially after the Four Nations break, they were incredible. I don't know. Do you just reset and say, let's go back with this core next year? Does Binnington get moved?
Give Thomas,
it's interesting.
Offer,
give Thomas the C. that would be a turn of events.
Yeah.
Went from almost dishing him to...
Or Parayko. Give Parayko the C after he declined to be traded.
Hoffer's won 7 of his last 9 starts, has allowed more than 3 goals in just 1 of his last 9 games. So he has been lights out right now for them.
He's been hot. And
to be fair, Binnington's won 4 of his last 5 starts as well. So they're just hot as
team's
a team.
just a wagon.
Right
if they that's the thing. Like, we were talking about teams that get in, and I know, you were saying you'd rather the Jets than teams like Nashville or St. Louis, but I was kind of thinking man, if St. Louis sneaks into the playoffs here, I wouldn't feel great about playing them either. And I say that from experience. They gave the Jets a tough time, and they have some dogs on that team. They have some good players on that team that I'm not saying that they'll necessarily win a first round series, but I wouldn't, if the Blues are this hot now going into the playoffs with that goaltending too, I think that's a team that I for sure would not want to touch. But
I'm still way more scared of the Jets. But I see the argument as them being a team that you wouldn't want to play as well.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets. I'm not gonna go against my Jets here because I wouldn't want to play them either, obviously. But I just think that I don't know, man. Sometimes I've been kind of getting the feeling this year. I was talking about this in the office. It just feels like there might be a lower seed that a wildcard team that comes away with an upset this year. I don't know. It's so close. Teams are gonna get hot near the playoffs. We'll see, but the Blues are a team that would worry me for sure.
2 teams left. Choose your last one, Puck.
I'll be quick with this one. You know what? Credit to them. They have, I think, surpassed at least my expectations. The Nashville Predators. I think it's impressive that they've hung around. They're holding on to that final wild card spot as bad as it's been. But man, this team's... They're negative 27 goal differential. Offense isn't necessarily their strong suit. I think it's encouraging some of the youngsters that have performed well this year, like Luca Evangelista has been very good. Mm-hmm. But this team is still suffering from the decisions of one very, very irresponsible spending spree in free agency that I think all at the time we didn't think was going to take them over the top. Last year was a disaster. This year it's gotten better, but I still don't think you're going to get a Stanley Cup out of an aging Steven Stamkos and Ryan O'Reilly and Brady Shea. Like, that's just not the reality of the NHL. So if they make the playoffs, great. I don't see them as a playoff team in most years, but you know what? They're hanging around as maybe fraudulent as they've been. I just really don't see a ceiling. I don't fear the Nashville Predators if I'm one of Colorado or Dallas or whoever's going to have to play them in the first round.
It's probably a fair take. That's probably a fair take. They seem like, I mean, the elder statesmen for sure. Yeah, veteran players. Who the hell knows? But
yeah, that's true.
The elder,
maybe
the elder statesmen have also been playing pretty.
They have been good,
but like they've been playing good.
They're just not a top team in the NHL. Like,
yeah.
To me, are they one of the 16 best teams in the NHL? The Nashville Predators?
No, they're
probably not.
I think last year the Preds definitely fraudulent. This year, maybe after just having one full season to kind of feel things out.
But like, this is the ceiling, a negative 26 goal differential, 70 games into the season.
Well,
and
I mean, they've been playing okay lately.
What do they have? 78 points right now? How many points?
77 points.
77
right
points, and you're hanging on to the final playoff spot.
It's
like,
the West, man. The West is a disaster. The West
of the Nashville Predators,
sucks.
like, we should be applauding them for that because they spent a bunch of money in free agency.
I don't think you have to applaud them, but like I don't
They
know.
probably should be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
With the point total that they're going to finish with, they probably should not be in the playoffs.
And that can be said about any team in that wild card race, other than Utah. Probably is that they probably shouldn't be in the playoffs, but two of these teams are going to get in, and it's kind of how it is.
I don't know, like Nashville. If they get decent goaltending from stars in the playoffs.
NHL power rankings right now. Where are they on your power rankings?
They're
23.
They're behind every Eastern Conference team not named.
Islanders or Predators?
Yeah, I was just
Islanders.
Okay, good.
Islanders.
Just making sure we're all
okay, but like to that point though, like the Predators have a lot. They seem to have a lot more goal scoring. I mean, maybe not, but they've got two guys who have hit over 30 goals. They've got O'Reilly, who has 66 points in 73 games. Offensively, a lot better than the Islanders. Like, can't you make an argument that if they get, I mean, it's a big if, but like if they get good goaltending in the playoffs, then like, are they technically not a more dangerous team than the Isles? Based off of what we were talking about earlier?
If goaltending this, if goaltending that.
They're just not scaring me. Like at least the Islanders have played consistent good hockey all year long, where like I just don't think the Predators have, and they're being in the playoffs is a byproduct of how bad the West is, more so than like they've earned this. Is kind of where I'm at with them, I guess. I got one team left. It was between Detroit and
don't do it to
soccer,
the Red Wings, man. The Red Wings don't deserve this. I know.
Who do you want me to pick? Like, I don't want to pick another Pacific team. I was honestly.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not going to go Leafs because I thought they were going to be bad this year.
You didn't think they were going to be this bad. Nobody did.
I thought they were going to miss the playoffs. I'm pretty sure I said that.
That's crazy.
So I don't think it's going to be the Leafs for me that they're a fraud because I didn't have a high expectations for them. It's tough because I want to like leave with a bang and try and like predict a team that's going to be eliminated in round one that had a really good season. The only team that I'm going to predict to do that, and they're not a traditional fraud, but I'm going to say the Dallas Stars for mainly the reason of like looking at how they play hockey. They don't generate a ton of offense. They have great goal scorers. But if we know anything about playoff hockey, it's that goal scoring kind of dries out. They've got one of the best power plays in the league, but they don't really produce a whole lot at 5-on-5. They don't create a ton. They don't get a ton of shots. They don't get a ton of good looks. They don't score a lot at 5-on-5. And so if I'm looking at a team that could be on upset alert in round one, especially with that matchup against Minnesota, as good of a season as Dallas has had, I think some of that goal scoring, that lack of kind of production they have at 5-on-5 could come back to haunt them in a series against another really good team. If they were playing anyone other than Minnesota, I wouldn't be saying this, but I think in a matchup like that is truly a coin flip, I think there's a chance that the Wild, there's more than a chance. I think the Wild can easily kind of best them in that series. And I think the Stars have kind of been playing pretty poorly down the stretch here when it's mattered most. Like, they had a chance to win the Central, and they have played pretty poorly recently to the point where, like, that's probably not an outcome anymore. But they had that in their realm of possibilities and probably controlling their own destiny a little bit with it, with 2 games against the Avalanche, and just weren't able to kind of do what they had to do and take care of business. And they've faltered a little down the stretch here. So yeah, I just from like their 5-on-5 play alone to be 25th in the league, or sorry, they are 21st in the league in expected goals for, behind teams, or just ahead of teams like Calgary and behind teams like the LA Kings and Detroit and New Jersey even. I'm just like, your team is so much more talented than this. Like, I could see this coming back to haunt them. But
last year in the playoffs, I said that I thought that the Blues, even though the Jets lost, I thought the Blues actually looked better against the Jets than the Stars did last year.
Crazy take.
No, I don't disagree with that.
A lot of people gave me a hard time. I'm like,
I don't think the Stars look great against the Avs either in that series. Like, I think they were very fortunate that Mikko Rantanen kind of came to play, but eventually he's on the team. He is, and that's why you go out and trade for a player like that. But I will agree with you on that.
The Stars have been like a little streaky, right? Like, they were so bad during a stretch of the season. You're like, what's going on with the Stars? Then they ripped off like 10 wins in a row. You're like, okay, the Stars are back. And then now they've kind of just been dropping some more games. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, is like, there's something to be said about having an amazing power play, especially in the playoffs. Like, that's 100%. So often how you will win games. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that it's hard to even call it an upset with Dallas versus Minnesota, because it just seems like such a coin flip.
It does.
Brutal that one of those teams' season's gonna end so early.
Two of those 3 teams are going to end before the conference
go?
final.
Like,
if the Stars lose in the first round?
Both of them. It's like
both of them, man.
Round 1 exit, Dallas Stars, one of the best rosters in hockey, or round 1 exit, Minnesota Wild.
A
great roster that went all in to go get
Minnesota trades for Austin Matthews.
And that's where we end this.
well, also, just some teams that we didn't mention, I think. I'm kind of surprised that no one said the Washington Capitals, to be honest with you, if we're talking about frauds. Like, almost won the President's Trophy last year, and now they're not even in a playoff spot right now, and they trade like they're all one of the greatest defensemen in franchise history. It just seems like it seems like a bit weird that, I don't know.
You guys said you called them frauds last year, going into the playoffs.
I think we all weren't believers in Washington going into the playoffs.
Feel like everyone thought they were going to be Montreal.
To not even like be in the playoffs, I don't know. It's a little nuts after the season that they had last year. Like, I guess maybe last year they were frauds, but I don't know. I feel like given the season they had last year and the fact that they're not even in the playoffs this year, it's just a little weird.
I don't disagree with that, but I don't know. They seem like a team that they've had like a couple tough stretches, but also they're just in the mix still, and the East has just been abnormally good this year. So if they took a bit of a step back, and now everyone ahead of them is just ahead of them, but like they're only 5 points out of a playoff spot.
That's a lot at this point with 10 games left. Like, you gotta win all your games.
8 games left.
8 games left, even more. You gotta get 16 points if you're gonna make up 5 points.
Let's see who they play though.
Doesn't matter who they play. They're not gonna get.
Oh, it does. They play Philly,
back.
so Philly's ahead of them right now by 3 points. That's a 3-point game. They play the Penguins twice.
Wow.
You're not going to win all these games.
That's a 4-point swing.
It would be brutal if the Penguins...
And they play Columbus once. That's 4 teams ahead of them that they could get 8 points off of.
Columbus has been red hot.
It's probably not going to happen.
They've actually been losing some games.
It's probably not going to happen. But it's a good shout. Out of the Eastern teams, like them and Detroit would probably be the candidates. And then
Detroit's great.
Pick anyone in the Pacific, and you're probably on fraud alert for the rest of the time.
It's funny because I did this in the past, I'm pretty sure, but I was going to say the Buffalo Sabres because they're fraudulent in a good way. I think I did that once where I talked about how a team is frauds because they're really good, and we're like,
everyone thought they
who
were
are these Buffalo Sabres?
I think we're the frauds for doubting the Sabres after 15 games of the season. So that's how we can end it. We're all frauds.
I think we were not off base for saying that we thought that the Sabres weren't going to be good this year, but good for them. I'm super happy for them.
We were definitely wrong about a lot of things. We're probably wrong about a lot of things in this. So let us know what we were wrong about. Like and subscribe to the video. We appreciate all of the comments all the time, and we'll be back next week with another podcast.
And who's the biggest fraud of the three of us?
It's you. Put a pin in the Jets season.